Hey, what's going on, guys? How's everybody doing? So on your screen here, you're going to see two different sets of artifacts, and we're not going to waste any time. We are going to get right into covering these. I don't want to keep this too long for you guys, but I do want to give these my 2 cents on what I think of these new artifact sets coming in update 1.2. So out of the two, we have a new cryo damage bonus set and a hydro damage bonus set, two of which we were missing up until this point. So that is very nice because hydro and cryo have really kind of been in this middle state of being good, but they could be better. And you know, because we didn't have a two-piece set, it was kind of like, all right, so what other set are we supposed to use? So for example, like with a Genshin, you know, his set is kind of been like, well, we could run 4-piece noblesse, but we could run a 2-piece noblesse and scholar and exile for recharge, but those are only 4-star pieces, and then you lose a little bit of main stats. But now that we have access to this hydro damage bonus set, it means that we can pump a little bit more into damage, plus we can build him a full 5-star artifact set between, if you want to do like 2 noblesse and 2 hydro damage bonus, because his kit basically revolves around his burst. But this is the set that I want to start about talking with, because I think out of the two, this is the one that I think is slightly weaker. Now, the reason I say that is because of the hydro heroes we have access to that could use this set. So first of all, let's go over the actual set itself. So you have the 2-piece set, which I mentioned is the hydro damage bonus plus 15%. The 4-piece set, after using an elemental skill, you're going to increase your normal attack and charge attack damage by 30% for 15 seconds. Now that is a huge boost, but if we take a look at what heroes we currently have access to that use the Hydro element, we have Barbara, Mona, Xingqiu, and Tartaglia or Child. So if we take a look, Barbara does not matter. Her heals don't scale off of damage, and she's not really doing a ton of damage anyway, so we can kind of check her off. Now, Xingqiu is kind of an interesting one, though I still don't think that the 4-piece set is going to be very vital on him, considering that really at this point, the only reason he's used is his burst. He's really not a carry type of any type, and we don't really care about his normal or charged attack damage. So for the most part, I think he will like the 2-piece set. 4-piece set won't be for him so much. Mona, I think same case. 2-piece set is where she's going to be living. I don't really see anyone using a Mona carry. So for that reason, you know, her normal and charge attacks do not matter. We could see, you know, that change if we have more like pyro enemies come into the game. But at the moment, because cryo is so rampant, really there's no reason to be using a hydro carry. Now, Child is a different story. This set was built for him because Child's kit is based all around normal attack. So when you use his skill to turn him into melee mode, even though you are technically using a skill, it's still counted as normal damage. So when you put him into melee mode, this 30% is going to be applied to every hit he does, which is a huge damage bonus. And on top of that, it is of course a hydro damage bonus set, which he has been missing. So his kits haven't really like fit anywhere because you can't really put like a 4-piece glad set on him, even though his melee stance is like with swords. He's still using a bow. Obviously you can't use bloodstained chivalry, so all of like the big damage sets he hasn't really had access to, so he hasn't really had a good home to kind of like rest himself in. Now, I don't think that this is going to put him over like the top 2 DPS slots right now are Diluc and Klee, and I think he's right below there. He's kind of like the 3rd best. I don't think it's going to put them above him or either of them. Even if we do get to a point where pyro enemies are rampant, I think it's just overall his damage just isn't there from the numbers I've seen. Now I could be wrong, but you know, that is dependent on what comes in the future. But this is definitely not going to put him above them just in terms of overall damage just with this set. Now when we look at Blizzard's trailer, this is the set that I think could potentially change a lot of what we see in team comps. This one is really interesting and could really push cryo over the top. So looking at this, of course the 2-piece set is the cryo damage bonus like we said before. The 4-piece set though, when I first saw the leaks out about a couple weeks ago, I wasn't sure if this was going to stay the same, and the fact that it is, they seem to think that it's either not overpowered or it's just powerful enough, so we shall see. But 4-piece set is when a character attacks an enemy affected by cryo, their crit rate is increased by 20%. If the enemy is frozen, crit rate is increased by an additional 20%. Now that's a lot. Now before we actually get into like who this is going to be good on and how this is potentially going to change Cryo, I do want to mention a small caveat to this ability. So the way this is currently worded, when a character attacks an enemy, in that terminology, it means that this status can be applied to whoever your active hero is. However, I feel like this may be some kind of like mistranslation, similar to the way where like Kaya's is it Constellation 2, where it was worded that his burst needed to get the kill in order to extend, but it's actually any hero inside the burst needs to get the kill. I'm still feeling like there's some kind of mistranslation here, but if there's not, this is going to be huge for teams involving Cryo units. So looking ahead at who we have access to that we can throw this on, I think pretty much every unit here except for Chi-Chi is really going to like the 2-piece Cryo set. Diona really only if you're building her as more of like a shield support. Like if you have another healer and you just want her for the shields and Cryo application, then you'll probably want the 2-piece Cryo set. Other than that, you're going to want 4-piece Maiden Beloved on her. Chongyun and Kaya will really like this 2-piece set, but I think the one who is most going to benefit from this set is Kaya. Now, Chongyun technically applies Cryo at a faster rate than Kaya, but because Chongyun will shatter anything that's frozen, he's not going to fully benefit from that 40% Cryo. So Kaya might become actually a really solid DPS, because if you consider how we can stack this, before we even get to his artifacts or weapons, he already has a 5% crit rate, because every hero does. If we pair him with another Cryo hero, that's bringing him up to 20% because the 15 bonus. Then we have the 4-piece set. So if you're attacking a cryoed enemy, now you're getting up to 35%. If you attack a frozen enemy, you're getting up to 50%. So you can have a 50% crit rate without even touching your artifacts or weapon. Now, I'm assuming that the best weapon for him, especially for free-to-play players or people who don't have 5-star weapons, is going to be the Black Sword, which you can get from the Battle Pass. And that weapon has crit rate built right into it. So you can get roughly, I think it's like 32% crit rate, 35. It's between 30 and 35. So if you put that on him, now you're getting up to 80% crit rate on frozen enemies, which is absolutely nuts. And so now that we have all this just built up crit rate that we don't have to put into our artifacts, now we can go and put like a crit damage circlet on him instead of crit rate, which will get his damage up even higher. Plus, we don't need to worry so much about crit rate on his substats because he's already like maxing out his crit rate. So I feel like this kit could really push Kaya forward as being like a fully capable DPS character. And even if he's not, if that crit ability does carry over to whoever your active hero is, he is going to be a monster of a support unit, especially for heroes that aren't necessarily using claymores. If you're using Claymore, he won't be as good because they're going to be shattering frozen units. And what this could also probably do is make it so that freeze comps are more of a thing now that there's an actual benefit beyond just shatter. So I'm really excited to see what this is going to bring to the table. In looking at shatter comps, I do have a video coming out in the next couple days talking specifically about who I think is going to make a real good team. We're going to have a couple teams in that video, so stay tuned for that. And if you want to stay tuned for that and you want to support us further here on the channel, you can go ahead and follow me over on my Twitch page, twitch.tv/xjazze. Subscribe right here on YouTube by clicking that red subscribe button. Like the video if you liked it, and click that notification bell. That way you never miss a video. But guys, that's all I got for today. Hopefully you did enjoy, and I'll see y'all in the next video.